French drain is simply a trench that you fill with rocks. It's got a perforated pipe in it that collects and redirects the excess water to somewhere that you can deal with it, like a wet well, or a curb, a gutter, a storm drain, somewhere that is a lower area of the property where sitting water is not a problem. It creates a hidden pathway that water naturally flows, safely channeling it away from vulnerable areas like your foundation. You got to keep your foundations dry, otherwise the house settles. The biggest problem that it solves is not having standing water next to your property where your foundation needs to stay level, true, and correct. When you introduce water to a foundation, it slowly starts eroding and making the soil underneath the foundation wet and muddy, and it can subside and sink down. You have gutters on your house, but you just drop the rain leader right there next to the house. You need to continue that water containment away from the house. You create a French drain or an area drain that moves the water to somewhere that is safe, or went into a sump pump and you pumped it somewhere that's safe, like you're below the street or you're at the bottom of the hill.
Or your neighbor's house.
Or, yeah, you're below your neighbor's house. He doesn't have gutters. He doesn't have any water management on his property. And all that water and mud flows down to your house. You need to take care of your water and mud and his if you want your house to stay where it is and not need a lift.
French drains can get rid of pooling standing water, which creates mosquitoes, which serious problem here in San Antonio. Mold, mildew, growing up the walls.
The water damage cracks the concrete and the siding. When you get little cracks during our freezes, the water gets in there and it makes the crack bigger and bigger each year. Dealing with water management on your house is critical, whether it's moving the dirt so that it's up against the house and the water sheds away from the house, not the dirt is above the house and water goes down to the house. Try to use gravity as much as you can. Gutters are critical. Your house is the biggest catcher of water on the property, and then that runs down the rain leaders. You need to deal with that water. We could have a hurricane stall off the coast and rain big here for 5 or 10 days. Florida rain, big drops. You got to deal with it.
Installing a French drain involves a sequence of planning, digging, laying the pipe, and fill materials, and finishing the trench to redirect excess water away from the problematic areas.
So first step is to get a transit out on the property and get your levels and see where water will flow gravity-wise, and see where you have to add dirt or subtract dirt, or how deep you have to be, at what kind of fall. You have to figure out the property and the elevations and where you're going to move this water. How much of this water can you move by gravity versus
put in a sump pump,
dump it in a sump pump and pump it somewhere. So the transit will tell you your elevations, so how you can deal with water. A half inch or an inch over 30, 50 feet is hard to see just looking at it. Where a transit, it's easy. Basically lay the system out. You're going to need to find where the water is and where it's collecting, and then plan your area drains and grates accordingly so that you're able to take standing water that's pooling and ponding or coming off the roof in huge buckets and
plumb in all the rain gutter drops.
It's not just a pipe in the ground. You have to move the dirt for water management to try to use gravity as much as possible, rather than a sump pump that takes electricity that could come out in a storm. You could lose power in a storm. The cheapest way, the best way, is to run a transit on the property and figure out your elevations and then plan the system so that it moves the water safely away from your structure or what you're trying to protect, your landscaping, trees, whatever's low. You basically either are bringing in dirt to make it higher and water will shed off of it, or you're putting in a drain there or a grate to grab the water and move it somewhere else with gravity or a pump.
Lay the system out on the ground, dig the trench, bring in all the rock and material, the dirt that we're going to use to line the trench with, lay the pipe, backfill it, and then any landscaping that we need to do that we tore up while doing that, that needs to get fixed.
Yeah, got to put it back.
Got to put it back. The common misconceptions about French drains that we often have to clear up. The difference between French drains and area drains. French drains use a perforated pipe to distribute the water into the ground, unlike area drains that redirects the water and discharges it to a safe area. French drains are effective at managing subsurface water and diverting it away from specific areas, while area drains are designed for moving large volumes of water from heavy rains and surcharging of the gutter downspouts. Those are the two common misconceptions: French drains, area drains.